We're back in Portsmouth, and this week we've got Gabriel of Pavolera.
Every product has its good side and it has the bad side. So many people dwelled on using artificial intelligence to scam people. The positives are limitless. There is a lot of opportunities, right, in the AI, especially for the creatives.
Does it not take away from people who have put years and years into their craft?
But the things you are able to do in 5-10 months with an AI tool, you'll be able to do it in 1 month. So that saved time can be allocated into another thing, right? So yes, there will be redundancy. I think the data is like up to 40% by 2033. We should not look at it from the place of, oh, it's going to take my job away. But we should look at it from the place of, oh, how can I use it?
Yeah, it does create what would take, let's say, 10 days in 30 minutes. But is that not making people more lazy? All right, we made it.
Yes.
Gabriel, how are you?
I am fine, and thank you for having me on your show. I'm really grateful for the opportunity to speak to you.
Amazing. No, thanks for the kind words.
You're welcome.
Okay, so cool. Yeah, welcome to What's Going On show, the show where we shine the light on people doing things in communities, and you yourself are doing something within the AI and tech community, and that's what we're going to be talking about a bit today.
Sure.
So, a little tradition I got on this show is, instead of me giving you an introduction, I'd like to just give it straight over to you. So, who in a nutshell is Anu Oluwapo Gabriel?
That's a really nice one. You really made an effort by pronouncing my local name, which I really appreciate. Oluwapo Gabriel is from Lagos, Nigeria. First of 6 children. 2 passed away. And we are 4 left, and from a lovely family who is they are very entrenched in the entrepreneurial sector back home, albeit very low-key, because obviously everybody back home in Africa are entrepreneurs, if you get what I'm trying to say. Right? But yes, Oluwapo is from a family of 6. First of 6. I have 3 boys behind me, 3 girls, 2 passed away. We only have 1 left, yeah? So that's Oluwapo.
So you grew up in Nigeria. So how was it growing up there, and how was the transition coming over to here?
Lagos, Nigeria is a very lovely place. One of the biggest cities in the whole of Africa. I think by the last count is around 20 million population, or over 20 million population. I grew up in, how will I call it now? A very in quotes rough community, kind of, right? So it really shaped my background, my childhood. There's a popular place called Ajegunle, right? And people that might be watching this in the future will know the place. There is a lot of talent that came out of that place. There are music talent, football talents, like one of the guys that played for Manchester United, Judy Gallo. He came out from that community. However, my community is like, they call it the little brother of Ajegunle, right? Because it's more in, there's a lot of chaos then when we were growing up, right? And that experience really shaped my life in terms of values, in terms of knowing the right thing to do, in terms of having conversation with people, in terms of meeting new people, right? Because obviously if you grow from that kind of community, there are many advantages and there are a lot of disadvantages growing up in that kind of environment, because the advantages you have is that, you have a communal way of living, right? You have other parents even rebuking you as a child to say, don't do that, this is right. I recall some experience. There's a woman we call Iyeleko. Sorry, I'll be using these words, right? Because these are people that shaped my childhood, right? And I recall a certain period as a young 12, 13, I was transiting from, well, I call it a baby to a 13-year-old. And then I used to watch rap songs from Nigeria through, there's a particular place, channel called NTA2 Channel 5, right? So they have, and DBN, MBN, these were, stations that were just showing for like from 4 p.m. to 12 a.m., right? So during that period, because I love TV, right? And I hope my son doesn't know because I rebuke him a lot from watching TV. But, those experiences really shaped me. And then, I wanted to be walking like the Black Americans. And she was like, you come here, why are you walking like that? And I was like, that's how I want to walk. And then she rebuked me, no, you don't walk like that, and all of that, So those experiences, a very communal environment, which people that really love you would talk to you to say, oh, don't do this, don't do that. And yes, it's a lovely place.
Okay, interesting. Just on that then, how is that culture different? So you say a lot of people rebuke you for what you do, but would you say that's the case here in the UK?
Times are shifting, right? And even back home now, the way things were then are not the same way it is now. There are some forms of semblance because there is the United Kingdom actually colonized Nigeria, right? So most of obviously we have our own culture, but some things are shaped by some of the culture. I'll give you an instance, right? Marriage, right? Back in the day, like even my parents, they only had the traditional marriage, right? But by the time I would get wedded, I had to do 3. I did the court marriage, I did the church marriage, and I did the traditional marriage, because the church marriage could be termed as an English culture brought into our culture, which is also, and as a Christian as well, I have to do these things. So the period has changed. While there is a semblance of community in UK, which is very, very good, like we can have different community. We have community of tech people. We have Urban is a community for helping youth to integrate. We have a lot of community. So there are some set of semblance, but even back home, things have changed a lot. We modernization, so to say, right? Because then you could not have, everybody are now living in a gated community now, right? For instance, if you go to Lagos, you'll see, or maybe some of the high places in, because even where I grew up, a lot has changed. The last time I was there, a lot has changed, because you now have the house where I grew up is now like a story building. They demolished everything. Someone bought up the house and all of those things. So a lot of things have changed. But in comparing to England, there is still, because I've worked with what will I call it now? I want to find the right word to use now. But I've worked with much more people that are advanced in age, and I saw those semblance of what I was experiencing while I was young in Nigeria while talking to them. So I have a lot of aged friends in UK that when I share my experience, they're like, oh, that's how it used to be. Because I lived in Dudley, Birmingham, briefly when I came to UK, and I have some friends, and they were like, oh, then this is how it used to be in UK. And I would tell them that, oh, this was how I experienced it. Yes, it's similar, but in every culture, in every communities and environment, things are changing, life is changing. Children may not have that lovely experience, right? But I am thankful that the communities here are very, very strong, especially in Portsmouth. It's a very lovely place, and that was why I came back. Yes, I do tell people, immediately I came to the United Kingdom, I landed in the Hart Interchange. Okay. So I was like, no, I love this place already. And I lived at Alverston, behind the Pompey Stadium. And then I used to hear the, what was it called now? When they are playing the match and all of those things. So a whole lot of things influenced me in coming back to Portsmouth, because one of our people, Yakuba Egbeni, Kanu Wako, Otaka, they played for Pompey. And when I was younger, I used to watch. I was like, nah, I must stay in this community, right? So yes. So in a nutshell, a whole lot of things have changed from when I was growing up, even here now.
I see. So when you came to the UK, when did you come, and what made you come to the UK?
Okay, thank you for that question. So, I finished my university back in 2017 at Obafemi Awolowo University. So I did public administration actually. Many people would not know that, oh, this guy, you a tech person. Yes, I am. But after some time, while I worked for a social enterprise called Mrs. CEO Niger, she's still my mentor till today. Then I have been always fascinated with tech, but I did not know how to go into it.
Okay.
Right. So, but that particular job I did after work, after school, really, showed me. It was not a tech company, it was a social enterprise company. But, through that social enterprise, I was able to go to different tech conferences, do things. I was like, oh, this is where I want to be, right? This is the career I want to be. And I'm thankful for the woman, and she really helped me, Mrs. Tololope Adedeji. Hope you don't mind me mentioning names, right? She really helped me shape the tech career I now went into. So in 2020, I went into tech properly, right? I worked with a startup as a product sales. There are different names they give sales, right? But product sales, that was what I did, right? And it was lovely because I was able to interface with the product team, right? To say, oh, this is what we are seeing in the market. This is what the customers really want. This is what they don't want. Because obviously, most times, tech people will create products and they're, oh, let's ship it into the markets. So when the customer starts using it, they give feedback. So I was between the intersection of sales and the product team then. And from there, I then saw that there is a need for me to have my master's, right? So I looked at it, oh, what is the best master's that aligns? Because I know I'm a business oriented person. However, I still want to know a bit of technical stuff, right? So I did international business and data analytics. So I applied to University of Portsmouth, Ulster University, Birmingham, and then University of Portsmouth did not give me admission, right? I then took the admission of Ulster University, Birmingham campus. So, but I still had to come here first because I had a friend. That's the only friend I had in UK who was staying then there, and I told him, "Oh, I'm coming," and he was very helpful. So I stayed here 4 days. I came in March, if I'm not mistaken, 17th or 19th of 2022. Right, I stayed like 4 days in Portsmouth. Then I went to Birmingham. So when I got to Birmingham, no shades to the Birmingham people, but I just said, nah, I'm coming back to Portsmouth. So I used like 6 months from January to like June. Then July, I came back to Portsmouth, 2022, and since then, I've been in Portsmouth.
Nice, nice. So did you finish your?
I finished my MSc. I even did. I went back to Birmingham to go and do the graduation in 2023, right? So I finished my MSc International Business and Data Analytics, and when I finished and I left I am trying to now give you the background of how Pavolera and Portsmouth Tech and Cultural Hub started, right? So when I finished, I was in Portsmouth doing my stuff, working and all of that. So I was like, there's a need here, right? I didn't even know Auburn then. That was in late 2023. I didn't know them, but I was just working with an organization then, as a business process analyst, right? Okay. Yeah, so and I was still doing like some remote jobs back home and all of that. So then I was like, I think there's a need in the community, right? AI is fast growing. How can we start integrating people? Even if it is to organize events, talk about it, right? Then the consciousness will start brewing, right? And I decided, so I applied for a particular job in one council. I don't want to mention them, right? So when I applied for a business process analyst, the interview was fine. They loved it. They were like, you cannot be in a local council system because it will slow you down. Mm-hmm. That was what the guy said. That's the person that interviewed. He said, you have fantastic ideas, but the council will slow you down because of bureaucracy. Not because they don't want to employ me, but because of the bureaucratic nature of the council that his advice would be for me to go into the private industry. So I was like, okay. When I came back home, obviously I was sad that I didn't get the job and all of those things. But I now thought within myself, the UK has a lot of good structures for small business owners, right? So why don't I start mine, right? And that was where Pavolera came in. Then immediately I registered Pavolera as a limited liability company. I started looking at what can we do. We started a product. We were building a product. So sometimes I can be a perfectionist. So we built the product to like 90. I said, nah, I can't launch this. So the product was almost ready when we did the Portsmouth Tech and Cultural Summit last year, September. So I said, no, we can't use this. So we started all over again. We did another one. I said, nah, we can't. Because I know, and that was a mistake on my part, right? Because there's no perfect products when it starts. And you just have to push it and see the people's feedback. But now we are launching another one very soon. So that is kind of my background coming to the United Kingdom, studying international business and data analytics, MSc, and starting Pavolera and Portsmouth Tech and Cultural.
Interesting. Okay. So there's a lot to unpick there. So
Yeah.
you say, all right, first of all, what does Pavolera mean?
Okay, so Pavolera is 2 words
Okay.
merged into one. So there is an official bird of the country called Nigeria. That's my country, right? It's called Pavonina, right? And then there is a word in my local language called Ilera, which is health, right? Or wellness, as it may be. So I removed the I on Ilera, and then removed the Nina from Pavo. So I joined them together, making Pavolera. So Pavolera simply means building digital solutions that cater to indigenous people or communal people. Because as I said, I was formed by the community. So my ideas are always shaped. So Ilera simply means, Pavolera simply means building indigenous digital solutions.
Okay, so you said that you're a man who sees an opportunity and he goes for it. You said AI was a big opportunity and it was growing. But what drew you to AI, apart from that?
Okay, so AI, when the first version of AI has always been with us, right? Because, I said I studied international business and data analytics, and AI is embedded into any AI that you see today. It's a fusion of many datas, right? So AI cannot exist without data. And what is data? Data is information, right? So when I did the master's, it really opened my eye to that aspect. Because in 2020, I said I went to an AI conference, the first AI, I think, was it the first edition or the second in Nigeria? So I had like something, the event really fascinated me. I was like, okay, what is this AI? So 2 years after I came to study international business and data analysis, because my background from like when I went to secondary school was pure arts. Then I moved to public administration in the university. Then masters, you can see the kind of growth. So I was like, I don't want to go to the main AI because it is a fusion of data, Python, and all of those things, right? And it will be a whole lot me just going into it directly, right? So I said, okay, which one would help me to at least understand how those things work? So I went to do international business and data analytics. So in that class, in data analytics class, I saw the capacity of AI. And in around 2021, 2022, the generative AI came in. We saw that we could change our pictures, we could do different things. So I was kind of fascinated about this. So I was like, okay, we could do this. And then but I am always in the area of product digital safety.
Okay.
Right? So when I was seeing the bad use of AI, because obviously every product has its good side and it has the bad side. So many people dwelled on using artificial intelligence to scam people, to do all sorts of evil deeds. We've had people that have lost tons of money because they've cloned their voice. And I was like, no, we need to start building the consciousness of the community towards this. Yes, we are not trying to make people afraid of AI, but we are just trying to let them know that there is a whole lot good in AI. All right, so we had the first, and thank you to Rebecca Simmons. So when I approached her, that's another like a whole process of meeting her, because I first met Haley from the University of Portsmouth and Joe Hall when we wanted to do the last year's events, because the venue we initially wanted to use was Buckland Community Center, and thanks to the PBBA, Portsmouth Bangladesh Business Association, Roshnara, Mr. Raja Ali, they were like, no, you are bringing people from different cities. No, we need to use a better place. And through collaboration, which I'm very thankful for them, I met Haley, Joe, and David, I think in the global distance. So they introduced me there and all of that. So after that event, Haley, we had the Nigerian independence event at the Gido. Then they had a show, a small event for the Nigerian community as Spark. Okay. So when I got there, I was like, wow, there's something like this here. Yeah. So I'm trying to tell you how the AI stuff started within the community. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll come around and check. And I went there and I saw a lot of lovely people coming there. So I said, oh, this is an opportunity. And I approached, I said, why not? You guys can come. So I'm grateful for the people that I've met along the way. And when we did the first digital safety in the era of AI, it was lovely. They really enjoyed it. They said, oh, they didn't know. In fact, people were having testimonies there that day that someone scammed a family of theirs, I think a family friend, of 10,000 quids a week before that day. And then that day, we had some people that was there, and then they brought the news to the urban opening on, I think, was it April?
Yeah, I remember when they opened their new place.
Yes, when they opened the new, and Brian before reached out and said, oh, I love what you guys did. And I was like, wow, we are just doing something small. So that really gave me the courage and confidence to say, oh, there's a need for this thing, because many people really thanked us. And it's not even about the thanks, it's about the impact that we've had amongst those small group of people that has, snowballed into something big. And I just applied for the event we had at Auburn by Crew AI. I was even thinking, oh, they will not accept. What have I? And then I saw the email. I was like, wow. So I now went through the country, like how many people are doing it. It's only London and us. I was like, okay, that means we are doing something good before these people could, select us to host this thing. So that's kind of the background of why I'm trying to go into, AI to ensure that people start getting this, and there's a whole lot for the future.
I understand. So you said there that people have been scammed and they lost £10,000.
Yeah.
But what are some of the other dangers of AI?
Well, I would not really want to dwell in the dangers much.
We can go into the
the benefits as well.
Yeah,
apart from the voice cloning, the kind of datas they use, right? And they are trying to find sustainable ways of storing data. Because AI, any feature of AI or anything that you see in AI now is very expensive. And the development is being funded by angel investors and all of that thing. Because if they say they should pass the unit price or the end price of AI to consumers, nobody will be able to afford it for now, right? However, there has been ways, because some of these things are impacting the environment, the ways they store the data, the kind of output it comes out with. That's one of the things. So people, they are looking for solutions to kind of make sure that the storage of data is in a sustainable way, right? That's number one. And number two, some of the, apart from the scam, is the data, like GDPR. And that's why you see that the government is really heavy on ethical AI, right? There was a news that happened I think the BBC carried it, BBC South, that there's a bank app now that they come to business owners. They will just say, oh, they've transferred your money to you. Maybe they bought something worth of 1,000 quid or 2,000 quid. You will see the stuff that it has been paid, but you will not see the value in your account. You will not see the value of the money. So products, building on ethical products, so to say, is one of the things people should be worried about, right? Because the tech world knows this thing, but for an average human being, they don't know. They just want to do their business and live happy, right? So apart from the scamming area, the area of data is very, very important. People could use data. Data is life, right? If unscrupulous elements, right, get hold of your data, there's a whole lot of damage that can be done. So that's why the ethical AI framework by the United Kingdom is being put in place to ensure that people, by protecting products, how will I call it now? People that are producing products, right, to produce products that are good, that is safe for people, right, and then to also ensure that the public has an awareness of the capacity of AI, right? Take, for instance, in the event that we did, right, we told them, yes, we are in the digital era, but you still need to look at the way we lived our life before digital era came in, right? Obviously, if, let's say, your sister or your brother called you, the first thing is that you have, so to say, a family code that you used to talk, right? So if that person is calling you that, oh, hello, I'm so, and you're like, okay, maybe you throw a family code. There is no way that person would know a family code, right? So these are kind of the way. So one, the scamming area, these are part of the places where it's one of the biggest thing, right? Because the scam area, it has voice cloning, face cloning. They will do everything about you and you'll be like, oh, is this even me, right? And that's a very, very big area. But apart from that, the data area, which is very, very important, and how the big companies, in fact, I think I read the news recently how Facebook Meta was slammed with some fees by the UK government, the way they used people's data. Right, yes. So these are big issues, but those are big companies, right? They know how to sort their ways with the governments. Yeah.
Jeez, fair enough. So how then can people stay vigilant against the negatives of AI?
Well, it's by being aware. That's number one. You have to be aware of the impacts or the dangers of AI. And the targets are always at the end of the spectrum or beginning of the spectrum, as it may be. The youths are heavily targeted, right? Teenagers, and then the aged ones, right? Because one, they know that the aged ones may not have full information about the capacity of AI. So, for instance, when we're doing that digital safety, we had to play a video. A man was called upon that his son was in prison or something. That he needs to pay £10,000, and the person was used an AI tool to mimic the son's voice, and he was like, he's so sure that that's his son. He gave them the first £10,000. Another one came, and when they wanted to take the third one, that was when one of his daughters said, "Wait, your son cannot ask you for this." And then by the time they got hold of it, so there's a whole lot of things. But the first thing is that people need to be aware. And how can they be aware? Is by people that have things like this to go to the community, right? Tell people, oh, this is what you are likely to face, right? Most times, people that are targeted for maybe their credit cards and all of those things for the older generation, right? But for the younger ones, it comes with bullying, right? It comes to image fraud. So those are kind of big things in the United Kingdom, right? And so people just need to be aware. Awareness is one of the first key things. And the number two thing is proactive measure, right? Structures need to be placed in place from the council, like from the lower community area to the top, right? And I think the government is really doing a good job. There was a digital action plan that was launched, I think, in February to put in place structures of developing AI and also having ethical AI in place. Because in the next, I can't even say in the next 10 years, in the next 2 years, you could see what's happened in the last few weeks with Gabriel Studios, right? So the AI we had last year, even last 6 months, will not be the AI that we will have in another 6 months. So the whole thing is developing so fast that everybody just have to keep in touch with base as to the information that is going on. So the first thing is the awareness. The second thing is proactive measures from the local council to the county councils to the government as a whole, and then the communities, because that is where you are going to get people, the faith communities, the youth communities. We need to start talking to people. For instance, there are some laws people don't know. There are some laws that are in place. When you are in the digital forum, let's say X, for instance, and you say some things, you can be picked up from your home, right? Yes. Some things, when you say some of those things, you don't know. You just feel you're having a flex on the internet, but they're against the laws. How many people are aware of these laws?
Where can we find them,
Do you get? Where can we find these things? So these are the duties of the communities to say, oh, we are taking this information to our community, right? Even when you want to type that thing, and you feel like, oh, I just want to hear my voice, right? I just want to put out these things there. What is the consequences of those things that you are putting out? How does it come back to you? Because obviously, when you have a criminal record in this country, then your DBS is affected. It limits the potential of what you are able to do. And our youths, teenagers, they are so full of life. They just want to air their view and all of those things. Meanwhile, what is the impact of that view you are about to air in the next 20, 30 years on your career, on your life, on your family, right? So that's, I don't know, maybe 140 characters. What will be the impact in the next 10 years on your career? So these are the information we need to start putting out to our communities, to talk to them. Yes, the digital space is there for us to ease our life. However, it can also land us in trouble.
Okay, interesting. So now we'll sort of veer into, so what are the positives, in your opinion, of AI?
The positives are limitless. They are very, very limitless. In fact, I was trying to prepare some things before you guys came, and with the rate of digital poverty in the country, and when I mean digital poverty, it doesn't mean that people doesn't have money, right? But it just means that the access people have to create wealth through the digital space. So, for instance, there are some sectors that are exclusive to professionals. But now, with AI, it has been very, very decentralized. Yes. If you have £250 now, I'm just saying, it may not even be up to that if you are very creative. You could have a YouTube channel of your own, and you have your own, what's it called now, Cartoon Network. Yeah. So it's there because, one, with the Gabriel Studio now, you can give AI a prompt to create a Pixar level cartoon for you. It will create it. You have a mic, you do your voiceover, you place it on it. There are websites or tools that is currently available that will help you, and you will be able to produce at least 2 to 3 minutes video of a cartoon, and you can upload it on YouTube. YouTube is free. So do you see the kind of potential in that area for a young boy of 15 who is living in the council house and wants to get into life, wants something for himself or herself, right? That is an opportunity, right, for them to be able to make at least a little cash to help them to, go whatever they want to do. And our teenagers are full of creative ideas. That's just one out of many things, right? Another thing is that it's going to create. I think I was checking earlier that the economy, the AI economy, will be generating 1.33 trillion by 2033. A 1.3 trillion economy, which I believe will be more than that.
Wow.
Because when people realize the potential of AI, it even create. For instance, now you can create a product within 1 hour or 2 hours. Test run it whether users will like it, and if you feel that they wouldn't like it, then you can now use those particular information you have gotten to build on the real MVP. You can create an MVP in less than 2 hours, 3 hours now, depending on the kind of product you want to create. Using Midjourney, these are AI tools. Even the traditional graphics website like Adobe and all of those things, they now have AI tools integrated into them because they know that that is the future, right? So we need to start looking at the opportunities that are in AI. As I said, it's a 1.3 trillion economy by 2033, which in my own opinion, it will be more than that if people really take advantage of it. So there is a lot of opportunities, right, in the AI, especially for the creatives.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially for the creatives, but even for younger ones now, you want to create a product that you feel that, oh, it's a boring product, right? It's something that people use every day. Just go to Midjourney, put in the prompt, or tell AI itself, ChatGPT, put in the prompt, oh, I have this idea, kindly help me refine it. You will see what it will give to you. Right? So the opportunities are limitless, and I think we need to start having the conversation with our younger ones, right? They are very creative people, right? Some of them want to sing songs, they want to have a YouTube video there, they want to have a game. It is possible now with AI. You don't have to have £10,000 stored somewhere. You can create an MVP within hours, validate your ideas by putting it out on your Facebook. When you have those numbers, then you can approach angel investors to say, oh, I have these numbers, I have this capacity. Even if you don't get the first one, don't be bothered. You still start pushing, and before you know it, you get someone that will believe in your dreams.
Wow. I mean, it is, there are unlimited opportunities with it, but it's kind of, I don't know if I'm using that phrase right, but it's kind of like a double-edged sword. It's like, as a creative myself, if a kid from a council estate, I used to be that kid as well, if I had AI and I could create something and it could pump out whatever it was, does it not take away from the fact, though, from people who have put years and years into their craft? I know that, does it not invalidate their whole career, their whole life? What about them? What about the forgotten people?
I think AI is here to help everyone, right? Because it will even help them make their works better. And I think that's why most of my LinkedIn posts are about, collaboration. Because you don't want to work in isolation, not minding the fact that AI is here. Right? For those sets of people, the thing you can now start doing is to use AI to enhance your work, right? And I was trying to build something on the internet, on ChatGPT, and I asked it, who has the IP to this particular thing? And it says, so far that you are the one that gave me the prompt, you are the creative mind over it. You have the intellectual property to this particular thing. See what I mean? So it's not taking away that thing. AI can only enhance. So for instance, now, probably their budget was supposed to be £2 million or something. With AI, let's say you have a product team or so, whatever. I don't know how some of those filmmakers or the creative aspects works, right? But the things you are able to do in 5-10 months with an AI tool, you'll be able to do it in 1 month, because all you just need to do is get those things to help you do it, right? However, some of the, let's say, video editors, for instance, now, there are video editing websites that are powered by AI that could help you bring out your job better. Instead of you using 1 or 2 hours on editing, You could use 30 minutes. You could use 45 minutes. So that saved time can be allocated into another thing, right? So yes, AI, there's no doubt that some jobs will be obsolete, but many jobs will also be created. And what I am always advocating for is that people should learn how to use AI as a collaborator, right? If you are able to learn AI tools for your industry as a creative person, it helps you take your work faster and helps you to save time a lot. So yes, there will be redundancy. I think the data is like up to 40% in by 2033, which I believe there's still time for people to start engaging with these AI tools. We should not look at it from the place of, oh, it's going to take my job away. But we should look at it from the place of, oh, how can I use it to enhance my job? For instance, now when you are typing, it will tell you, it will give you like options of what you want to say, right? Yes, but at the same time, you still want to say, oh, is this word correct? Is this thing correct? And all of those things. But it has helped you take up that burden of what to say. So for instance, now, if you, maybe you are creating a YouTube video and you tell ChatGPT, can you create, I want to create a season episode. Can you give me, can you suggest 10 episode name for me? It will bring it out. Then you will now be like, okay, no, I want it to look like this. It will write out the script. It will write out everything, right? So it has helped you to, obviously, you are the creative mind, but you can give that prompt to refine what you want. You know, there are sometimes when you, because I used to do drama when I was in Nigeria, even now I still do. So when we are writing, let's say, a script, and you're like, I want this thing to be like this. I want this thing to be like this. You know, you are taking your time to think. But with ChatGPT now, you can say, oh, ChatGPT, I have a character, which is this, that. Kindly create 2 episodes. It will bring it out for you. Then you can now, at least it has taken that burden, that time frame. Probably you are supposed to use 1 hour or 2 hours. In 2 minutes, you already have your script, right? Then you can now tweak it to what you want. So what would have taken you, let's say, 10 days to write? In 1 day, you can finish it. So the conclusion would be on that particular question, people should not see AI as something that is coming to take their job, but they should see it as a tool to help them, you know, be better at their job.
Interesting. Okay, fair enough. So with so my question then is, yeah, it does create what would take, let's say, 10 days in 30 minutes. But is that not making people more lazy?
Well, that's a hard question. I won't say it's making people lazy. What I would just say is it's helping you to look at the possibilities, right, of what you are capable of doing. Because obviously everybody wants to do their work neat, fine, in time, and turn out good things, right? So when we say laziness, it depends on how you use it, right? So if you rely on it solely, for instance, when I want to post on LinkedIn, I don't use it, right? Because you can see that this is ChatGPT, right? Or when I want to do some writings, I don't use it. But sometimes when I want to do something creative, I only use it as a guide, if that helps. As a guide, it helps you look at a broader ways of the way you can implement your ideas. So for instance, let's say, you say, I want to conduct an event, an AI-powered event, and you are a novice at doing any event, right? You don't have any previous experience. What are the key elements I need to take note of? It will bring it out for you, right? Before, you don't know those things that you need to do. But now it has helped you to bring those things up, and you know how you will allocate your time, how you will allocate your resources to say, okay, I need to have a space, an event space. I need to have so number of speakers. I need to have the videographers, the photographers. I need to have them. But before, you will be like, I'll be cracking my head. Oh, how do I do this? How do I do that? So for now, even if you don't have any experience of anywhere, right, you can still help. ChatGPT can help you, or whatever AI tools that you are using can help you to bring something alive. Then it's now the physical aspect now remains that you need to start looking for people that have done it before to now ask them physical advice, because obviously I'm not advocating that people should rely heavily on AI, right? Because obviously, at a point people will get tired of it. People still want humanness in what we are doing, right? People still want to have the human feeling. They want to hear your story. They want to hear who you are. They want to feel you as a human being rather than as a machine, right? So AI can only complement that to give you the best creativity that you want to do, right? But if you rely on you solely, definitely it can make you lazy. But what I would say is that it is still helping us to, what's the right word now? To fine tune our ideas.
Okay, interesting. Because it is interesting. Because at what means, because it's at early stages now, and it's creating all this stuff. And you say, by 2033, 10 years, God knows where it'll be.
Yeah.
But I guess the only other major concern I have with it is years ago when the introduction of phones came about, everyone was a bit standoffish. Everyone was kind of the same. It was like, they're great, but also blah blah blah. People become addicted. Goodness, when was the first iPhone released? Now looking at it now, right? Now looking at all these years on, people are glued to their phones. People can't live without them, and if anything, people get social anxiety. It's like social media as well. People get social anxiety. They get all these feelings just from this smartphone. Is that not a concern though? Now that people are becoming, it is a PA, it is an assistant. But do you fear that in time it can become people solely? I mean, we said there people don't want to be solely reliant. But what effect will it have on people? Do you believe?
Yes, and that is a very, very valid concern that I think is being discussed in the terms of affair in the AI industry, right? Because addiction is real, mental health is real, even in tech, right? It is something that is not spoken of. Because take for instance, you are trying to launch a product, you are trying to build a product, right? AI is there to help you, suggest proper coding. But at a point, you are glued to your screen. You want to hear or you want to be part of the latest information that is coming out. Because if you are out of touch in 1 month, there's a lot that you would have missed. And all these things, you have to constantly stay on your phone to say, what's the latest trend? What's the latest news? But I think there should be balance, right? There should be balance. And how can we make these things happen? Number one is to start advocating for ethical AI, right? There are kind of tools that are built now. I think I saw one on LinkedIn recently. So it's like a game where obviously it's still the same thing, but it locks out your phone, right? When you set it, because you have control over it, over the app, you say, I just want to use my phone for 2 hours today, right? So if you have been able to use your phone for the 2 hours, then it logs it out. You are not able to have access to your phone. So at least you have family time, you make good with people. And I think our communities and councils can start having which is part of what we are trying to do in Portsmouth Tech and Cultural Hub, right? To start talking to people, having intersection between mental health, cyberbullying, and digital safety, to talk to people, because these are part of the things that will happen, right? So yes, it is important that we have these conversations, right, from the local level through communities, because I believe many people use their communities more than ever now. Faith communities, the hub. I know that, for instance, Auburn, they have like 3 hours event for youths every Friday, right? These are places that these conversations should start, because some children or teenagers, they will not say what is going on. Even as adults, we battle with it. Sometimes at a point, I just don't want to have anything to do with phone, right? Because you'll be having messages from maybe clients, from family members. You want to know what is going on for us that are immigrants, right? We want to know what is going on back home in the country because we still have people back there. So by having this conversation from the community level down to the top, because I believe communities are the people that are closer to the people, right? The communities are very, very, for instance, some people even spend days in their communities than even knowing their councillors, right? So I feel the communities, and when I went through the digital action plan, the governments are making use of communities and charities very well for this digital inclusion, and I think that's one of the best way to go, because people spend more time in their communities, in the charities, than even knowing some of their. I'm not saying the councillors are not doing great jobs, they are doing fantastic jobs, but I feel when these messages start getting to communities, to families, because families goes to the community, right? And these places need this information to be decentralized to the people.
Fair game.
Yeah.
So on that then, that's part of Portsmouth and Tech and Cultural Hub and Pavolera's mission then, is to make that the awareness and all that jazz. So cool. So it's still not an infancy stage, but it's still an early stage. So where do you envision it in 5 years?
It's going to be a very big one, because we are looking at building the ecosystem, and apart from building people, we are building products that helps people, if that makes sense, right? Pavolera is a limited liability company, while Portsmouth Tech and Cultural Hub is a CIC, right? And with the Portsmouth Tech and Cultural Hub, we believe that we can help drive digital awareness and make Portsmouth a tech hub in the United Kingdom. In the last event, I said we are building the next Silicon Valley, right? Which Silicon Valley in itself in the United States is an ecosystem. It's not a one-off event or one-off tech place. We have angel investors there. We have people building fantastic product there. And it's not even about Portsmouth Tech and Cultural Hub alone. So imagine we are building a Silicon Valley. I believe someone started the idea of Silicon Valley, and it's now a global hub for tech enthusiasts, right? And what can that turn into? It can turn into a lot of things for Portsmouth as a city, right? It places Portsmouth in the global space as one of the big, and yes, Portsmouth is a military, city. However, it can also be a tech hub. We have the sea here. It can even be a tech tourist attraction. I don't know. I was going through the history and I found out that there are some engineers who have done great things. And I don't know if you are related to one of them, because I saw your son name.
Really?
Yeah, I saw your son name. I was like, is that like related to one of these people? I've forgotten the first name of that person, but I saw your last name.
Yeah, it's quite a popular.
Yeah. So I was like, so these things can help, build the ecosystem in Portsmouth and contribute to the Portsmouth, the overall success of Portsmouth, so to say, right? So we are having a whole the event in itself, that which is Portsmouth Tech and Cultural Summit. It's going to be a yearly stuff. We are having another one in September. We want it to be. Our vision is that it looks like London Tech Week, right? London Tech Week is a whole week of events, right? And it attracts people from different countries, destinations, right? And we hope that in the next 5 years, which we are putting structures in place, that it will be like that. And that's why we're always happy to collaborate with people, to collaborate with councils. Because what I know is that, for instance, last year that we had, just the small one that we had last year, at least the people that printed our banners are local business people. The visitors we had speakers from Manchester, from London, from Oxford, like almost 6-7 cities. They use the hotel in Portsmouth. Do you now see the ecosystem now? The person that prepared the food is a vendor from Portsmouth. right? So the guy that we used last year for this thing is a Pompey. In fact, he's in college in Portsmouth, right? So these things will impact local businesses, right? So it's a whole thing. It's a collaborative effort that will help, uplift Portsmouth as a whole and put Portsmouth on the world stage map, right? So yes, in the next 5 years, one of the vision is to make sure that Portsmouth Tech and Cultural Summit looks like it's become a weekly event, not even 1 day event now. Last year we had a 1 day. This year it's going to be 2 days. The summit itself and then the tech charity match that we are going to be having. It's going to be World Tech or UK Tech versus Portsmouth Tech, right? And it's to raise funds for charities who are doing amazing stuff, right? Because we know charities are they are lacking in funds these days, and the work they are doing, people don't realize that is a very fantastic work. So we'll be using that to drive awareness and to tell people that we have Portsmouth here. Sometimes when I go to London and this like, where is Portsmouth? I'm like, come on, don't tell me you don't know Portsmouth. It's just 2 hours away from London, right? So you guys should come to Portsmouth. It's a fantastic place. We have the seas, and they were like, I don't know Portsmouth, it's far. I said, no, come around. Mm-hmm. So one of the things we have been able to do in the last 1 year is to show people. In fact, one of the speakers, when he came a day before. He toured the whole of Gun Wharf. He toured everywhere. I love this city. I can move there. I said, you are welcome to Portsmouth, right? So many people don't know that there's a gem here, right? So, and one of the things we want to do is to ensure that we use tech as a form of tourism, if that makes sense, to build what we are building. And I believe it will benefit the whole ecosystem, not just Portsmouth Tech and Cultural Hub. That's one of the things. Then the second thing is to build consciousness of people around what AI is and other digital tools, right? So we build the consciousness by letting people know or are aware of the opportunities and dangers in AI. Because everything that has opportunities also has its demerits, right? That's the second thing. And the third thing is to start building tech talent in Portsmouth, right? We'll start from, just your normal Lego, right? We start from there and then we start having conversations as to how do you build a product? How do you do these things? We engage these children. We help them to do all the set of things. Yeah. So I think, yes, in the next 5 years, it's going to be a hub that benefits Portsmouth people.
Strong.
Thank you.
We'll close up on that section there then. That was an interesting chat. And,
Thank you.
I look forward to seeing what happens with that.
Sure. And I'm really grateful for you coming to my home and having this discussion. I hope it makes sense at the end of the day. yeah,
definitely opened my eyes to some stuff.
Yeah.
And got me questioning other stuff. So now I'm excited.
Yes. And the event, is it still on camera?
Yeah, this is still on.
Yeah. So the event, what we intend to do with the event is to ensure that we start bringing, because many times we go out of Portsmouth to see tech stuff. But this time we want to bring people into Portsmouth to see how we are growing. Obviously, we are not at any level with London Tech Week. But one thing I understand is that London Tech Week started from somewhere, right? So if we can see this as a Portsmouth thing, not Gabriel stuff, it's a Portsmouth thing, which helps the ecosystem. Such as the one that happens in August. What's that now? Victorious.
Yeah.
Victorious is not for the people that have the creative idea. It's benefiting the whole community, right? Yeah. So, and that is in the creative and entertainment area. So now think of Victorious in the tech area. You see the massive opportunity that it can bring, right? The local businesses that, in fact, last year when I wanted to do it, someone said, "Are you crazy?" I went to what was this, Gidol?
Yeah.
To talk to them about using the space, and they're like £5,000. Okay, that's huge, right? But that is how visionary I can be. That's how big I can think. I know even if we have 2 attendees today, if we are consistent in the next 5 years, it can become 10,000 attendees. It just depends on the kind of people you bring in. And imagine 10,000 people came into Portsmouth in a week. Look at the opportunities that it will create for local businesses, right? And this is what we are trying to do. This is what we are trying to do.
Wow, big up. That was a good one.
Thank you so much for coming. And yes, I really hope that we all grow together, because that has always been my thing. I believe that when people see opportunity and they come say, oh, who did this? Who covered it? Oh, Paul Media. Okay, I need them in London. I need them in this. And that's how growth starts, right? Because if you are not in somewhere, people will not see you, right? And I believe these things will turn into something big by God's grace, because I'm a believer of God.
Amazing.
Thank you so much for the time.
You're welcome.
I'm really grateful for this opportunity.
It's all right. That's lovely. That's lovely.
Thank you so much.
Love you, man. No worries, honestly. We've got a part 2 now.
Oh.
Yeah. All right, cool, Gabriel. We made it to part 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, cool. Part 2 is when we go out into the street and we ask a question. So this week we asked a question, and you're about to find out what the answers were. So
yeah.
feel free to stop at any time.
No problem.
Or feel free to watch it to the end, whatever you feel.
Okay.
And away we go. What jobs do you think can't be replaced by AI?
Jobs can't be replaced by AI. To be fair, it depends on what sort of tools that AI has to its disposal. So, I mean, to put it bluntly, I think AI probably could replace all jobs if it wanted to, if it had the freedom and the resources to do so. I mean, it wouldn't be very hard for AI to maybe get its hands on, I don't know, a factory with some robots in, use that to make more tools, make drones, deep sea mining expeditions, go into outer space, pretty much whatever it wants to do. So
Interesting.
I think it could replace anything if it really put its mind to it. Whether it would or not is a different matter. I don't think it would.
Jobs do you think can't be replaced by AI?
I think I love that particular comment, right? As much as AI would disrupt many jobs, but it cannot take some jobs away. Definitely. They call them the boring job, right? Because obviously maybe in the next 50 years when we have the robots working with us, but in the foreseeable future, right? Like in the next 10 years, 20 years, the masons, like the bricklayers, I call them bricklayers, right? The handymans. These are still things, because if you want the cost of a robot for a family, so there's the boring jobs, so to say, right, may not be easily replaceable for now, at least in the foreseeable future, right? Because the cost of the end cost of a robot, how many people can afford it? Let's be realistic, right? And let's say, for instance, you want to change maybe you have an issue with your wiring and all of those things, or your heater, right? They sent a robot. How many robots can a company, how will I call it now? Can a company get to go into different? Let's say, for instance, there's a heating pump company that helps repair your this thing, right? And they are servicing over 20,000 customers, right? Would they get 20,000 robots? What is the end cost? Do you get? So the boring jobs may not be taken, I want to use the word now, may not be taken away by AI in the foreseeable future. But we don't know, in the next 50 years, things have changed, right? Yeah. But that's a lovely take.
Okay, interesting. Let's jump straight back in, yeah?
AI. Any jobs that have to do with manual labor, so anything physical, I guess, definitely can't be replaced, like engineering jobs and anything labor-wise.
I don't know. I actually don't know.
What jobs do you think can't be replaced by AI?
It's going to be real hard to get a plumber to do your a plumbing robot to do your work. Like trades, mostly trades, I'd say.
Yeah, you said that.
There are a few technical roles, like some engineers, specifically the construction ones. Healthcare, a lot of irreplaceable jobs there by AI. Maybe some of the diagnostics can be taken over by AI, but with surgeons and stuff. Basically anything where it's like there is a physical craft required for it, I would say.
Fair.
But
In the area of healthcare, it may take some jobs.
How so?
So, for instance, there was one article that I was reading about, I think the radiology aspect, right? I think I said it in the last event we had. So they brought like AI tool that was, done for that particular purpose and brought some radiologists as well, right? The AI tool came up with a better result than the humans, right? So with the consistent creativity and innovation in that space, some jobs may be taken away in the healthcare space. Some jobs, not all. For instance, as you rightly said, the surgeons. Surgeons are highly trained people and they deal with life in the healthcare system, right? So any mistake is gone, right? So and then the system or the sector is heavily regulated. Yes, it's because it has to do with human life, right? And so some AI may not take all the jobs there, definitely, but some jobs will definitely go. So what can those people then do is by partnering and collaborating and see how they can upskill themselves before that time comes. If not, maybe it's even there at the moment. You get, so yeah.
Okay, fair enough. No, fair enough. Cool.
Maybe a food taster or something like that.
Interesting. That's a good like AI.
Any job that has to do with people. So I would say some specific part of medicine, teaching. They may take some part of it, but most of it that has to do with human being relationship.
AI is already here. It's already some tutorials that you see online on YouTube. They are AI faces.
Yeah.
So obviously it will not take away all the aspects, but it's already. So for instance, when I was doing my dissertation, right?
Yeah.
There was an AI tool to checkmate whether you are using AI to write your dissertation.
Oh, yeah. I've heard about that, yeah.
So there's an AI tool, and that thing is, sorry to use the word crazy, to the extent that if you use just one word, it will highlight it out. And then you have to rewrite again. And that's why I said earlier that obviously it may not kill your creativity. It will only help you to. So some certain aspects of teaching will go.
Yeah.
Some certain aspects will go. Except for the fact that people still want the human interaction. But some certain aspect of teaching will go. Because people are already learning on YouTube, they are learning all these things. And someone can sit down that is a professional and has a YouTube channel to create some of these things and just put it out there. And if the people find his or her content very okay, they will subscribe and you'll get more views and all of that. So some certain aspect of teaching would go actually, but not all.
So do you think classroom teachers would?
I think we need to start retraining our classroom teachers. We need to start retraining them because some of them are not aware of what it can do, such that they can be able to note when a child is using, because these kids are so super fast and intelligent. There are some even tools I don't know about AI that some of them know. So if you're a teacher and you are not aware of the possibilities of AI, children, you just say that children are, things are going on and be like, oh, my children are doing okay. But they are heavily reliant, which is not something that is bad, but you still want that human creativity in whatever the children are doing. So I think teachers need to start, I believe they are already doing that in the UK as it were, right? However, if they are not doing it, I think it is right time for teachers. So you can see the ecosystem I'm talking about now, right? Even as an individual, as a creator, we have not even gone to the system of education to say, okay, what is happening about AI there? Most of these children are so aware. In fact, there was a particular news about one popular singer in the United Kingdom that they are saying the AI will craft the music or something, that AI can clone their music and there's nothing they can do or something. I'm not so sure about the particular news. And they were taking the issue to court and all of those things, right? So these are the things. It's disrupting a lot of places, right? The healthcare sector. The last event we had, you saw what that man, Mr. Bankole, produced.
Right.
Yes, you can have AI agents negotiating costs of a particular stuff. It's possible. Because what AI is now doing, or what creators of tools of AI are doing now, is that they are now sector specific. That's why it is called AI agents, autonomous agents. So it's not even like the general AI or generative now. It is now sector-led agents. And that's why the person that talked about construction, he said the right thing. Because obviously even now there are robots that will build a 3D houses for you and all of those things, right? So, but in some sectors or in some continents, it cannot happen in the next 30 years.
Gosh.
Relationship won't be able to take it.
That's fair enough.
Oh my gosh. Obviously, we human, we have nerves, pulse, will of, we think, we have our own will to think, will to decide. So there's a lot of jobs that they can't take. Okay. They can do like donkey works. In other words, carry our bags, washing up, maybe, I don't know, like dishwashers and stuff. But they can't take our jobs.
What jobs do you think can't be replaced by AI?
It will take that. It will take, because there are robots that will just. In fact, there are machines where you put your plate in it. It does everything for you and all of that. It even arranges it, it wipes it, it mops everything, and it will take some, especially in the hospitality area. There are some hotels in China now that are using robots that welcomes you, that serves you your food. However, human being, we always want how will I call the word now? We want the human feeling. So at the first point, they might be fascinated with those things, but as time goes on, they will be tired. And these things are machines. Yeah. Someone in the corner of the room in somewhere can just hack into the system, and then those things start misbehaving. Yeah. So it is a possibility. Obviously, people can say, "Oh, that's Hollywood," and all, but it is a possibility. At least in UK, I think last year we had a downtime for all banks. Right? It was an organization that was in charge of all those things. Obviously, they didn't say they got hacked, but it was a system downtime. Do you know how many millions of pounds that was lost that day? Even trains could not walk, So these things are a possibility with AI, right?
Jeez. Wow. Okay. Fair.
AI. Strippers. Although, no. I mean, no.
Oh, God. Strippers. But they are currently silicon AIs now.
Yeah.
Now even look much more beautiful than humans.
Scary.
No. But that's actually funny, man. That's actually funny. But in another way, how many clubs can afford some of those machines?
Yeah, I know.
Do you get how many clubs? Well, that's a funny take.
Can't replace live performance, live theatre, live anything where you watch someone in the real world. Music, live music, anything live, Yeah. Some jobs can be replaced by AI, and if your job can be replaced by AI, you have to move on with the times and, get a different job. But you can't be replaced by AI.
Hopefully.
Not physically. I mean, as a presenter, they can get on TV, they can get AI presenters, but when it comes to interviewing people in the street, you're safe. Unless, of course, you are AI.
Might be.
Look at it. He's wearing the straight face.
That was great.
Well, that was good. That was good, actually. That was good.
That was the question. Yeah.
These are lovely things. And I think you could see the humanness coming out, right?
Yeah.
In all of these things. Why AI is here to change some things, but definitely it won't change because the human race is so resilient in adapting with different times. So, yes, the human race is always here, and some jobs will be lost, while many will be created. Many jobs will be created, and some jobs are here to stay with us. They are not going anywhere. Humans are still going to be, part of the job or doing the job, and humans are the one creating even the AI. Right? It is the humans that created the AI, right? So what we should be looking at is how to use this AI to our advantage, to collaborate well, not to be afraid that, it will take our jobs, it will do, yes, it may take some job, but if you have up to 5 to 10 years or 15 years experience in a particular job, I don't believe AI should take your job. Rather, you should collaborate with AI to even train other people, to build businesses. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say now. Rather than saying, I will be laid off as a staff because AI tools are. So, for instance, I saw, I want to remember this company. It's a very big company. So they said they laid off their customer service department, used AI. 2 years in, they said, no, we are bringing back people.
Really?
Yeah, I've forgotten the name of the company now, but it trended like 3 weeks or 4 weeks ago. It's a big company, actually.
Do you remember the reason why they brought people back?
Because obviously humans still want to interact with the humans. Do you get? So that's why I said the human interaction. So the mistake they made was to say, we are overhauling this department and using AI. Rather, they should have used AI to collaborate with humans. Because the human touch will always be there. Imagine that you are asking a question now. Because we have not gotten to that stage of AI having the human intelligence. The AI world is like 40, 50, 60% on that way. But these are still kind of lab testing. And then there's a big man in the room, the government. They are the big man in the room. They can decide that they don't want that to have. Because these things have implications for government as well. Government doesn't want 40% of its population to be redundant because of a tool. Do you get? So that is why the ethical AI is there. That is why they are putting things in place, right? That is why they are doing digital action plan in UK to try to bring people that are digitally excluded into the system, right? Imagine something walking past you. You see the question he asked you, right? He said, except you are AI.
Yeah.
In the future, we'll have you will have them that is working within our midst and we will not know that they are AI. They are coming. This is not to scare anyone, please, but they are coming. They are coming.
Wow.
Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Well, no, it's been great.
Really grateful. I'm really grateful, but yes, it is something we need to start looking at, having the conversation, not in a fearful manner, but in a positive way, laughing about it, speaking about it, talk to the, our nans to tell, what if you see this? How would they'll give you a good laugh, right? But we need to start talking to them because even we in the next 50 years now, we'll have a whole lot of, it's another world in the next 50 years. Because I think we are still in the first stage, going to the second stage of AI, right? So imagine what could happen in the next 50 years. So all those things that I see in sci-fi movie, it may be possible by that time.
It's not high rate.
I said it's me. It's me. But we just need to get ourselves ready. I won't say they are coming, but they are here.
Well, no, let's get there then.